Yo, yo. Okay. I just wanted to talk just a little bit about, just expanding upon some of the ideas that, if you've been paying attention to me on my social media, I think I maybe even done a video about this in the past, but certainly if you've been paying attention recently, you know what I've been talking about with this. But as you guys are finding out and how rigged the game is, definitely the whole COVID, I think, taught you guys that, how a lot of these guys were able to go back and even do things that are diametrically opposed to what it is that they do, or tell you to do, lecture you to do. It can be absolute hypocrites, and they see absolutely no consequence for doing it. But my thing about when it comes to these like leftist types, you guys have to understand when I say like, oh, they want you dead, I'm not talking about like, I'm not speaking in hyperbolic terms. Like that's what they want. Hyperbolic. Love that. Love saying that. But this is not a hyperbole. Like, this is what they believe. A lot of these guys believe. And will they directly tell you that? Of course not. But generally what I'm saying is they have no issue destroying you, your family, your means of income, or anything of that nature, because they want to complete in total control, right? And this is why I said prepare for the election and what's going to happen, because if it doesn't work out in a way that you think it, or let's say Trump doesn't win, or Trump does win, excuse me, these guys are going to go ape. This is how they operate. But I'm not really one of those libertarians that pretends like these sides are equal. I don't even. It's an easy position to have. And for people that don't understand why a lot of libertarians do that, they say, the phrase of different wings, same bird, stuff like that. When you're talking about general progressivism and general conservatism. And govern wise, you can't even really say that governing wise. But if there was an avenue that you can say that, it would be in governing, right? This is why I always say that they, like Republicans campaign like libertarians and govern like Democrats, because they do. But certainly when we talk about their supporters, they're not the same. They're not generally the same. They have similarities and things that may cross over, but you're seeing how they react now versus how like the other. And I think strategically, if you're going to try to appeal to any of these sides, you have to acknowledge that, right? These general leftists, the ones that are acting up, protesting, I mean, these guys are, and definitely in these cities, right? Which tend to be leftists, but these cities that they're perpetually protesting in. You got Portland, they've been protesting for, I don't know, 90 days or some crazy like that. Like, these guys been at it nonstop, and they have not stopped. And you have politicians that act like it's not even happening. It tells you what you're dealing with, what kind of people that you're dealing with. This movement, definitely, when you talk about this whole injustice, social justice bullcrap, all of that nonsense is basically supported by almost every mainstream corporate entity. You know what I'm saying? Be it from technological standpoint, social media standpoint, or just general businesses, right? It's kind of funny that these guys talk about being a resistance, and somehow they have like all of the massive corporations on their side, right? Again, it's a lot of what they see the world for what they want it to be as opposed to what it is. These guys like to think of themselves as freedom fighters, even though like all of these corporate entities support their cause for the most part. Nonetheless, you're seeing how they react. They don't get their way, and they want you destroyed. They can't, and it's like they have to have these extensions of them, be it in media, these, again, social media platforms or what have you, in terms of how they police their own stuff. They're telling you who they support, and you get these politicians that try to put a mask on it, like we don't even see what's going down. Like, you think all of the violence and destruction, the rioting and the burning down, all of this stuff, you think that would be painfully obvious that, okay, there's a problem here. And granted, you are starting to see a little more of it, because I think the polling numbers are kind of reflecting that, okay, not everybody is okay with this. But you see that they had been supporting it essentially for so long. You had that one guy say like Antifa was like a myth. It doesn't exist. Like, these guys are not honest people. They see the world, or they project, I guess, the world as far as what they want it to be as, is not what it is. Okay. So you got to understand what you're up against, and you are dealing with people that are going to be dishonest. And this is why I say they want you destroyed. And it's not really funny. It's just crazy how a lot of people don't seem to see this, because they're so hell bent on acting like, oh, these guys are freedom fighters. It's just police brutality that they're against. No, you idiot. No, it's not. And even if they were, that's not how you handle situations like that. In any given scenario, in any other human affair, we would accept that if, let's say, I was wronged by way of a business or something like that, I don't get to go to my neighbor who had nothing to do with it and burn his house down, right? You'd accept that that's not okay. But for whatever reason, we allow this buffoonery to happen. And you have blue check marks. Again, media figures, politicians. Oh, it's just stuff. It's just a property. And then they get mad at you in the event that you defend yourself from it. These are the types of people that you are dealing with. The game is 1,000% rigged. And they want you dead, or your property destroyed. They'll settle for that. They'll settle for your concessions, if you will. They want you to submit. And they don't care to be honest, because they don't have to be honest. The politicians can pretend like they don't exist. They can blame other. Hey, it's y'all's fault that we're like this. We're burning down your business because police. It's like, it's almost like these guys are children. They can't direct their frustrations to the actual aggressors. I was talking about this back in the George Floyd thing, right? It's like the people that may have had a case were the people that were going to like the precincts. You could have made an argument for that. But most of y'all weren't doing that. Most of y'all were going to businesses and burning them down. And then people would just, because they're anti-economic or more so economically illiterate, they say, well, it's just stuff. It's just things. And you can't defend yourself from things because you have insurance, right? Because insurance, never mind the complications that come with that. Do they have the right type of insurance that's going to cover it? When is it going to get paid off? The people that that actually work there, they're going to be out of a job. They don't, of course, come up, and they're not rich, obviously, the employees of these businesses. These people don't even think about that. That's not even a consideration, because all they want to do is justify the destruction. All they want to do is justify their bad behavior, and that gives them an out to do that. So anytime someone's like, well, defend yourself, or this is wrong, they say, what about police brutality or something like that? It's like, you idiot. Brainlets can have more than one position, but you are lesser than a brainlet, believe it or not, because you only can think one way. And it's not even binary. It's just one way, essentially. That is police brutality bad. And anybody that says, well, your stupid behind lashes out on people that ain't got nothing to do with it, you say, well, I wish you were as mad at police brutality than you were someone's property being destroyed. It's like, you crackhead. Like, no, I'm not going to justify your bad behavior simply because you call yourself being mad. And let's not act like they are freedom fighters. Okay? No, you're not mad. You're just an opportunistic idiot. And unfortunately, your public school systems has fostered these people. Maybe they got daddy issues or what have you. No, they mamas or they fathers ain't never tell them to be something, teach them how to be something. So all they know is to lash out, right? All they know is to try to inject themselves in these situations, to present themselves, to feel like they're doing something, no matter if they're just going through the motions. But they feel like they're doing something, right? I'm a freedom fighter. I'm taking it to the Yahtzees. These guys are morons, man. But they're not on your side. You're seeing that you're beloved, and this is where I've been trying to tell conservatives of all people, not the supporters of like, well, no, not the politicians, the governors, the mayors of the world, the reps, the Senate members. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that generally support those guys, right? The Republicans. You're seeing that, and the game is rigged against you. This is why I said strategically, when y'all started zeroing in on police officers, right? Trying to protect these damn cops. Damn blue light. It was a mistake. I was like, this ain't the time to be doing that, right? This could have been a perfect time for you to get freedom back in the hands of the individuals, right? But what you're seeing right now is that even if you do defend yourself or your property, who's going to be the guys rounding you up? We saw this in Minneapolis when the guy protected his pawn shop from a looter and he shot him, and I think he ended up killing that guy. He's the one that gets arrested. They're not on your side either. And I've been trying to tell you that. Like, that was the one time that you could have held people's feet to the fire and said, all right, bet, you're not going to protect us, which I could have told you they weren't going to ever do that. You're not going to protect us. Don't punish us for protecting ourselves. And now you see, as they burn your crap to the ground, you see that these cops are being told to stand down, right? And you're left, well, I can't protect myself. We could have been crossing that bridge before if y'all fools weren't sitting there focused on defending cops. Put the power back in the individual, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like these general leftists aren't the threat that they are. Just for the sake of trying to equal them out with the mainstream conservative. I have no desire to do that. I'm going to call it for what it is. These fools are acting up, and they're going to continue to act up because they have the social status that protects them. They're protected by way of the politicians, by way of these massive corporate entities, social media, mainstream media. It doesn't matter. They will act like it's not even happening, right? You got guys, think about it. I'm going to end on this note. Fools at CNN, they got the spots on fire behind them, and they're like, it's mostly peaceful. That in itself tells you how rigged this game is, and you should start treating it like it is.